The teaser was fine, but these people straight up leaked the entire movie's story. And the source from where this claim is coming actually has a very accurate track record. Still, some parts feel a bit like fan fiction to me, especially because of Sadie Sink's character. But apart from that, what isn't there in this story? You get mutants, street-level wars, Grey Hulk alongside the Punisher, and most importantly, something Spider-Man has never shown on the big screen before. His most terrifying transformation, the Man-Spider. As I mentioned earlier, even insiders are calling this legit, so it's definitely worth discussing. The same thing happened during No Way Home. The plot leaked early, but no one believed it because it sounded too good to be true. And when the movie finally released, the box office turned into an endgame level event. So if you don't want spoilers, this is your exit point. But if you want to know the story, move ahead, hold your breath, because we're not just telling the story, we're breaking it down in detail. The story doesn't begin where you might expect. The movie opens with a deep, dark depression phase that was planted right at the end of No Way Home. You'll remember that Peter lost everything. Aunt May died, MJ and Ned forgot him, and according to the leaks, Peter Parker technically no longer exists. He's a ghost. He doesn't even want to live as Peter anymore. We get a very emotional narration where he reads the letter he wrote for MJ. Peter believes MJ is better off without him, and that staying in her life would only bring danger. He applies the same logic to Ned as well, which is why he cuts off contact with both of them. The writers make it clear here that this is not a fun high school adventure movie. This is a psychological character study, similar to what The Batman was for Bruce Wayne. The theme deals with heavy topics like loneliness and isolation. Peter starts believing that being Spider-Man is a curse, not a gift. Amid all this, action kicks in. Midway through the movie, we see an intense montage showing how Peter is coping, taking down mid-tier villains one by one, including Boomerang, Shocker, Chameleon, and Rhino. The public still loves Spider-Man, but the authorities absolutely do not. This is where DODC, the Department of Damage Control, enters the picture. Tony Stark originally started it, but later it became independent, and ever since, we've seen them targeting superheroes. They appeared in Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk as well, and honestly, they were pretty annoying. Their new head is Trammell Tillman, who considers Spidey an unregulated threat. But here comes the real twist. During this montage, we start noticing that something is going wrong with Peter. Due to extreme stress and depression, his powers begin to glitch. In reality, his body has reached the final stage of mutation. His anger increases, his body is in constant pain, and he becomes far more violent than before. According to the leaks, Tom Holland's Spider-Man will now have organic webbing, similar to Tobey Maguire's version. Comic fans can connect this to the Six-Arm Saga or the other storyline, where Peter went through a similar transformation. Now we come to the news that has completely divided Spider-Man fans. Casting rumors confirm that Stranger Things actress Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. Yes, the X-Men are finally entering the MCU. But there won't be an X-Mansion here. Instead, we'll see mutants on the run. And the first mutant we're introduced to is Jean Grey. DODC believes Jean is a walking nuclear bomb, something she could truly become if she gains the Phoenix Force. But I don't think that will happen here. Even if Jean appears, she'll only have basic, limited powers because we've already seen in Dark Phoenix what she's capable of at full strength. Jean's goal is simple: escape DODC and expose their corruption. Her first meeting with Spider-Man is not friendly at all. Jean thinks Spidey is a reckless kid who only makes situations worse wherever he goes. She's afraid that if she's seen with him, DODC will label her a villain as well. But Jean isn't alone. Protecting her is everyone's favorite brutal anti-hero, the Punisher. According to the leaks, we get a Jean Grey, Punisher team-up, with Punisher acting as her protector. For the villain, the writers have chosen Tombstone, played by Marvin Jones III. Interestingly, Marvin Jones III also voiced Tombstone in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Here, Tombstone is portrayed as a businessman who wants to keep the city unstable, because fear means people pay protection money, and that's how he increases his rates and profits. But Tombstone doesn't fight alone. He hires the Hand, the same evil ninja organization we saw in the Daredevil series. Tombstone bankrolls them to attack DODC and free Mac Gargan, aka Scorpion, from prison. Kingpin can't be used everywhere, so Marvel is finally establishing another street-level crime lord whom they can use long-term. Tombstone's plan is to create chaos and rule New York City from the shadows as its new Kingpin. The first major sequence of the movie involves DODC transporting Mac Gargan in a high-security convoy when a hand suddenly attacks. Ninjas versus a SWAT team breaks out, and Spider-Man jumps in. We've already seen bits of this behind the scenes. Punisher also arrives, complete with a tank. But despite Spidey's efforts and Punisher's help, the outcome is disastrous. The DODC convoy crashes, and Mac Gargan successfully escapes. As usual, instead of taking responsibility, the authorities shift the blame onto Spider-Man. After this, the Hand orchestrates a prison storm to free more criminals. Spidey fights back once again, but his power glitch returns, and his abilities shut down mid-fight. The villains gain the upper hand and brutally beat Spider-Man, until Punisher arrives and saves him. This becomes a major low point for Spidey. From here, the story turns even darker. Peter's body no longer behaves normally. His DNA is becoming unstable. He realizes he needs help, but who can he turn to? Everyone has forgotten him. Tony is gone. Doctor Strange isn't available, so he goes to Bruce Banner, who is now teaching as a university professor. But the problem is, Banner himself isn't okay anymore. He has become Grey Hulk, also known as Joe Fixit. This is not the smart Hulk, nor is it the heroic version. This is a pure gangster Hulk, built entirely on rage and cunning. On one side, Grey Hulk is going on a rampage across the city, while on the other, Peter's condition keeps getting worse. Banner prepares a treatment to help Peter, but it backfires, causing Peter's body to start producing blood uncontrollably. According to the leaks, the transformation happening inside Peter is the result of mutation combined with deep emotional trauma. Now Peter begins developing organic webbing and extra limbs. This sequence is said to be full-on body horror, similar to something you'd see in a David Cronenberg film, with Marvel slightly pushing the limits of its PG-13 rating. Meanwhile, Tombstone doesn't slow down. He provides Mac Gargan with a new suit, clearly resembling Scorpion, and orders him to kill Spider-Man. What follows is a classic Scorpion versus Spider-Man New York fight across buildings and streets. Spidey does manage to win, but the pain and stress completely break him. Scorpion takes advantage of the moment and escapes, and then the very thing everyone feared happens. Peter's stress maxes out, his transformation reaches its final stage, and he becomes Man-Spider. He no longer looks human. He has 6 arms, enlarged eyes, and a monstrous appearance. In this state, he even attacks his own allies, Punisher, Jean Grey, and Banner. This leads to an all-out chaos sequence. Grey Hulk versus Man-Spider versus Punisher with a tank. In the end, Jean Grey has to step in, because this is no longer a physical battle, it's a mental one. Jean uses her psychic powers to enter Peter's mind, leading to an emotional scene where she explains that he cannot survive by being only Spider-Man. Peter Parker matters just as much as the hero. This realization finally reaches him, and he reverts back to his human form. Bruce, who has now returned to normal, works with Jean to create an antidote that stabilizes Peter's mutation. Once everything is resolved, Jean leaves, but don't worry, she will return in Secret Wars. Peter realizes that Jean was right. He can't keep running away from his old life. Gathering his courage, he goes to a coffee shop or college, where he sees MJ. He decides that he will finally tell her everything. But before he can approach her, he notices something that makes him both happy and heartbroken. As he gets closer, he sees that MJ is holding someone's hand, and that person is none other than Harry Osborn. The twist is devastating. Peter watches them from a distance, sees them happy, and realizes that Harry has taken his place. But this time, he doesn't cry. He accepts it. That is what Brand New Day truly means. A new beginning, no matter how painful it is. In the post-credit scene, We see Tombstone in a dark, shadowy room, sitting across from an unknown buyer. The buyer places a sealed vial on the table, and it's revealed that inside the vial is a symbiote, the same symbiote that separated from Venom and was left behind during No Way Home. Tombstone picks up the vial and smiles while looking at Mac Gargan, aka Scorpion, standing beside him. The meaning is clear. We are getting Spider-Man 5, and it will feature Venom, but not Eddie Brock. This will be Mac Gargan's Venom. In the comics, Mac Gargan's Venom was 10 times more violent than Eddie's. This post-credit scene feels almost confirmed, especially since Scorpion's actor himself hinted at it by posting an image on his Instagram story. So friends, this was the complete breakdown of Spider-Man Brand New Day. If we analyze this leak, it's clear that Marvel is taking Spider-Man back to his street-level roots, but with a massive twist. The Man-Spider concept is risky, but if the CGI is done right, it could become iconic. The arrival of Grey Hulk is a treat for Hulk fans who are tired of Smart Hulk. Sadie Sink as Jean Grey feels like perfect casting, though also a slightly odd choice, because suddenly introducing a mutant into a Spider-Man movie without clearly explaining how mutants are appearing on this Earth raises many questions. If you like this detailed breakdown, don't forget to like the video. So guys, we'll meet again in a new video with a new topic. Until then, bye-bye.